Hi, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of the Encompassing podcast. I'm one of your co hosts, Brian, and this is.
Zerona with an X.
We're here on our very first episode to finally do our podcast. We've been waiting a long time to do this. We're really excited. It's a podcast mostly about just talking about anything that we want to, mostly about our lives, our experiences, what we've gone through, and how we met each other. We'll also have guests and how we met them and talk about their lives and everything about them. So this is just a podcast just to have fun, talk to people, and really get to know each other really well. So that's our main goal of this podcast. And yeah, and on this first episode, we'll just talk a little bit about ourselves, how we met, and what our plans are for future episodes. So that is our objective for this first episode of the podcast. For me, I'm Brian. I was born in Colombia. I am 27. I am here in the US and Florida. That's where I am right now. I was in South Korea, and that's how I met Saron over here. And then, so we'll have a little bit more story of that later on. But I'm a finance major, international business minor. My goal is to maybe further myself into either becoming a CFO of a big company or starting my own company in the future. Currently doing consulting work. That's pretty much what I'm doing. So yeah, and then as far as my co-host, she'll explain a little bit about herself.
Hey. My name is Zerona with an X. I'm from Nigeria, but I'm currently a student, actually graduating student at a university in South Korea, and that's where I met Brian in one of our classes. I studied tourism management and hospitality and food service management in South Korea. And my hope for the future actually is to be, it's kind of crazy, but to be a tour critic. Like I want to like criticize different tour destinations in different type of the world, or to be a tour journalist, more of like a journalist, but like traveling around and writing about like tourist places and stuff like that. So that's I definitely see myself not staying in one place, just like kind of moving around. But it might change in future, but for now that is like my dream goal right now. And yeah, that's just a little bit about me. Um
I guess we'll talk a little bit about how we actually met.
uh,
So I took a trip to South Korea to do a study abroad, but also to work as well. I went in August, and for about a month, when I got there, didn't really know anyone. It was kind of trying to meet people and kind of curious about like all the classes and working in all those different environments. Uh, so that's when in one of my classes, Rona was there, and a sudden question out of nowhere about I believe it was EXO, right?
yeah, it's
Somebody
about
asked if
Excel.
somebody liked EXO, and I raised my hand because I'm a K-pop fan, and EXO was one of my groups that I first like got into K-pop. Um, so I was like, "Oh, me, I'm a EXO fan," and then I don't know where we kind of started chatting, but then that wasn't really like our first interaction as kind of like friends. I believe it was kind of after that
Right, right.
where believe I had like a question or something to ask, and I told Zorona to come to the back because I was sitting in the back of the room in a marketing class.
Ah, SPSS.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
think it was an SPSS question.
yeah, exactly. I think, and I told you like, oh, do you know what you're doing, or like how to do this and that, and that's when we kind of first started talking. And then
Mm.
we kind of became like friends there, but then as time went on, we started to get like really close, and then we became really close friends.
Really
Especially because
fast.
yeah, yeah, especially because we lived in the same area. It was only like
Mm.
minute, 2 minute walks. So from like where we lived from each other, but getting there was like 15 minutes from the campus or something like that. Um, so we started really to talk with each other, get to know each other. Then we started talking with other friends that I had in the classroom, And then we did activities such as going to a cafe until like 4 or 5 in the morning, like talking to each other and getting to know each other and doing all that stuff. So that's how me and her kind of met. And I think after that, that's when we kind of had our discussions of like, oh, it'd be really fun to like make a podcast and talk about all these different kinds of craziness that we have because
Yeah,
consider ourselves a little bit of crazy but genuine people, I guess. In a certain
right.
way. Yeah,
Our genuine madness, I think, kind of over brought our friendship closer.
yeah.
Because like actually to be honest, like the first time the class was marketing research, right? That was the class we had together. And it was like I never planned to have that class because I just followed my friend Kiana, my Vietnamese friend, to that class. And then like everyone in the class, it was like after COVID, first class after COVID, and it's just like and you're naturally I'm like a social person who would just come up to people. But at that time in that class, I didn't really have anyone from my department. But I think at the day like we met each other, the EXO thing definitely sparked the conversation to become friends. And also like our professor asked us about the MBTI.
Oh
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
me, you, and Karim, it was only three of us that were the only ENFJs in the whole
Hmm.
class. And then I knew that these three people, they share my level of madness and craziness. Like sometimes I always feel like, am I the only weird person in the world? But when you find other people that as weird as you know what I mean? You feel so comfortable, like you feel like you're not like you're normal now.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
when I got to meet them and we became close, I was like, oh, now I know I'm normal in this world. I don't know if y'all can relate, but it's like that. And like we kept on talking and our personality matched and we had like some other friends like Cole and yeah, it was and then yeah, the one about the coffee, we told them about the coffee shop.
Mm.
So I had this Korean uni, like older in Korean uni is like an older sister, right? And she's like older than me and she speaks Spanish. And she was like, oh, I want to meet your Spanish friends. And then we met, I think we met by like 9:30 p.m., right?
Yeah,
It's like
yeah, it was like
9:30,
9:30. Yeah.
9:30, and then she left. And I don't know how, so it was me, right? It was like the four of us.
Yeah,
And then we
me,
talked, me,
Nicole, Maya, you, and
Maya, and me. And then we talked from like 10 p.m. to like 5:30 a.m.
Mhm.
It was crazy. Like, and the thing was that we're the only ones talking while everyone is studying.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
was
At
like
that time,
everyone was like studying. I was like, damn, it's not even midterm yet. It's not even like it wasn't midterm. It was not even up to finals yet. And
uh,
I was like,
but I
was
think it
it?
was almost midterms. Yeah, I think it
It
was
was almost midterm.
like a week or 2 weeks until
I
midterms.
I'm not even gonna. I don't even remember that I freestyled my midterm. You know, because but it was crazy because all of us were talking, and then you see people like focusing and reading like to like 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. to the morning, and then you see us, we're like just talking. I don't know what we were talking about. We were talking about random stuff, but at that moment, I knew we were destined to meet each other.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that night was definitely very interesting because, like you said, like we were the only ones like really chatting. Everyone was kind of doing their own thing, and we were just like
right.
laughing super hard and talking. And yeah, that night was interesting just because I think that was the night that we really talked about like our past and kind of like how we
Right, right,
thought about things or how like we actually like came to Korea. And I think that's when
right,
we got like a really good connection and kind of understanding of like
right,
who we are. And then
right.
the thing about the MBTI is me, you, and Kedem are like the same. But
Mm,
I definitely feel like there are levels to all three of us in a certain way that when
right,
we're all
right, right,
together,
right,
like we when we spend time with each other, we all like really like the same things and are kind of very similar in a lot of ways.
right.
I think our levels of like how we
Madness.
express ourselves in madness is a little bit. I'm probably the lowest out of all of us. Then you and Karam are kind of like
We
sometimes
compete.
to be other than the other, yeah, to be like the highest. But but
Yeah,
overall, I think definitely our personalities fit so well that we really got to know each other quite well and really
yeah,
mm, figured out that like this is a friendship that we'll have for like a very, very
for a long time. Yeah, because the thing about it is that we especially to Brian, we are annoying Brian so much that sometimes like I feel like he's just gonna like explode when he's with us. And then we're waiting for him to explode because in his mind we will say like the most random things like unicorn chicken fingers, and then he
oh,
would just be like, and it's like at the wrong time. Or like I would like I remember one day I just stopped you guys and I said one random like dad joke, and the disappointment and the mixed emotions on you guys' face. What was the joke? I think it was the
the
CU joke.
yeah, the CU 7-Eleven one.
But like it made sense though.
Yes,
No,
but it's just
it makes like okay. Should I tell the joke? Should I tell the joke?
go for it, go for
Okay, so there's a convenience store. So in America, they have 7-Eleven. In Korea, we also have a 7-Eleven too, right? And there's also another convenience store called CU, like
it.
CU, like that.
Actual
So
CU.
like what I so when people are like, oh, CU, I'm like, oh, 7-Eleven. And then I have to like, and then some people are like, wait, what? And then I have to explain, CU, the convenience store, 7-Eleven, the convenience store. And the disappointment and frustration and anger in their face is like, how, what?
Yeah.
But like for me, I felt so impressed because I was like, if no one made up this joke, it means like I'm creative or something. You know what I mean? Like, have you ever had that? Like, even if you know people don't like it, but it's like, I invented this. You know what I mean? Like, my mind, I felt like Einstein in that.
Oh, Einstein.
Yeah, I was like an Einstein. I may not be the smart Einstein, but like, you know what I mean? Like, I
Or
invented
charismatic
stuff.
ones.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, you get what I mean, right? It'll catch. I felt like, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, as time goes on, I'll be bringing some dad jokes. So I just better one I'll give y'all. Um, it might be a little bit too lame, but it's creative. It's creative. That's why it's like when you hear the joke, you be like, what? But what? You know what I mean? It's like what? But what? You know what I mean? Like what? Oh, what? Like that. I mean, you know what I mean? Have you ever had that what?
Mm.
What kind of moment? Have you guys
Yeah.
have you ever had that kind of moment?
Uh, with you, yeah. With you, Canem, all the group, there were many times where I'm just like, what in the world did I talk about? Like some
Yeah.
of the conversations that like came up during that time was probably some of the funniest I've ever had, like ever in my life, because it was just too funny.
Which
Some of the
conversation did you?
conversations, even at the cafe, were hilarious about like your backstory and your background. I guess on future episodes we'll probably do that, like
Yeah.
dedicated
Uh,
episodes and like ourselves one episode. But definitely look forward to that, and then obviously more dad jokes from Zerano, of course. But that we wanted to kind of just share a little bit of how we met, our kind of like personalities, and I think what I kind of want to do for last is like our thoughts about like the podcast and kind of like how we were thinking about it, and then why we decided to kind of do it. I kind of shared a little bit of like how I thought, but I kind of want to hear like what you thought about before like actually coming up with it, like in the mind, because you were kind of the first one that kind of said like, oh, maybe we should do like a podcast and something, and then I was thinking about it, and then we kind of like decided to really
right.
like,
I think probably like also how we grew up because we have different ways in how we grew up.
hmm,
You grew up in America, I grew up in Nigeria, and um it was definitely different. Especially me, I went to boarding school for 6 years since I was 10. So I have a lot of crazy background growing up. And also like just random topics, like also I won't say sensitive, like, but I think like issues that people are facing, like going to a new country, how it is being like a young person in another country, the struggle, how to adapt, how to make friends. I think maybe that would also be a good way, because both of us have also been in a situation where we're in a country where, Korea, we don't know anything, we don't know any language, and we
Mm,
meet like the most random people, and
yeah.
how to like adapt and like, um your future and just random topics. Like I was thinking, I know it might sound weird, but like I was thinking of criticizing every Disney princess. I don't know. I said that, and then
Mm,
it's like I'm not criticizing, but like a deeper meaning to like the Disney princesses for me and like their problems, because I know all of them all got problems, but they just hiding it. But I'm here to expose the problem all Disney princesses have. But yeah, this was like random topics. Some are like just for fun, some are like maybe for like mental health. Some are just like, I just want to know how this like curiosity, maybe people are curious about things. So that's my idea for I think the
mm,
podcast should be.
yeah. For the one about the Disney princesses, you did tell me that before, and you even said we were gonna like rank them. Actually, right? Do like a list. So I'm
Yeah, I
actually, yeah. You can go.
it's great because I don't know why I came up with it, because I'm a Disney, like I'm a Disney kid. I grew up watching
Mm,
Disney.
yeah, me too.
But but as I got older, then I understood like these Disney princesses, they got problems, you know what I mean? They really got problems. And I don't know, like my childhood, like memories, it starts to think like, oh, so they lied to me. This is not how life is gonna be. You know what I mean? Like there is no like, I know this may be off topic, but there's, like Cinderella, how she, forgot her shoes or
Mm.
whatever. I tried doing that and thought I was gonna. So I will explain. It was gym class. It was in high school, and I like this boy. And then I purposely forgot my
Oh,
Adidas shoe on the basketball field, so that he could be like, "Oh, whose shoe is this?" Because I wanted that Cinderella moment. You know what I mean? You know how I wanted it, and
oh.
I would, when you come to our podcast, I would tell you what happened. But I definitely wanted my Cinderella moment. And
Oh.
I'll tell you how I ended up with, but yeah, like it just I tried to experiment my Disney princess stories into my life.
Mm.
Some of them were successful,
Oh.
most of them were not successful. But in this podcast, you know, we're trying to we're trying to make you relate.
Mm.
We want to be a relatable podcast so people can be like, oh dude, I had this moment before, or people who think you're crazy, they find other crazy people in this podcast. So like that is what I my idea for this podcast.
Mhm. Oh, well, like I told you guys, definitely look forward to all those amazing stories that Serena will definitely have because her storytelling is off the charts for sure. Uh, a little bit of what I kind of thought when she asked me, or we were kind of thinking about the podcast, was definitely all the topics that she said, and definitely like a bunch of topics about experience about going to a different country that you've maybe never been to, struggling with the language, and being kind of by yourself in many ways because we both have experience in that. And we also wanted to maybe share a little bit about our experience in South Korea and how it went, talk about the schooling, how we met people, the friends that we made there. Of course, with all that experience, we've also made a bunch of friends. So we have a bunch of friends while there or here in Orlando that also went with me during my time there in the study abroad. Mm. So we'll definitely bring multiple guests, their thoughts about, how they handle things, what they did. We'll bring friends that are still in Korea and, talk about their lives, their experiences, share about, all their thoughts and feelings. Because I think nowadays it's a little bit difficult to find people that kind of share their actual thoughts and actually like want to show it and be honest in all regards. So I think this podcast we really want to be authentic. Uh, that's why for our podcast, I was definitely thinking of our videos always just being like a continuous roll on. Like there will be no pauses or no, except for maybe a pause for like a bathroom break or something like that. But other than that, there will be no pauses. There will be just a continuing conversation because we want this to be a genuine like conversation between us and you, the listeners. So that's something that we definitely want to do. Mm. But yeah, definitely talk about random things, funny stories, funny events, funny things we're doing, but also maybe a little bit more serious and topics that maybe some people wouldn't talk about and such. So I think it'd be quite an interesting ride and look forward to many cool guests, all different kinds of people from all different parts of the world. So definitely be excited for that. Mm. Yeah, we'll definitely be sharing quite a lot on the podcast. That's for sure. So definitely expect it. Couple things I wanted to say is the podcast. We haven't really decided on maybe what days we'll actually be releasing it. We're recording this on, well, for me, it is Friday, January 20th. Toronto's in South Korea, so it's already Saturday for everyone.
Saturday, like 1:30 p.m.
Yeah. So the time difference is kind of crazy, but we'll figure it out and then we'll decide on recording day. And then once we finally decide on recording day and I figure things how to like edit and things like that, we'll let you know about when we'll post it and have a continuous party like every week have like one episode. It's hopefully
Right,
a goal or tensions. If not, every like 2 weeks. That's definitely
right,
definitely we're doing this podcast on YouTube mostly because we want to be able to share with everyone. So definitely, if you're a new listener, definitely hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon for sure, because you definitely want to continue to listen to our podcast every time that comes out. We look forward to all your questions. We'll definitely be looking at the comments. We want to be looking at them, talk with you guys. This is going to be an experience more of having more of a community, such as like friends that we can actually speak to. Hopefully, we can talk more with you guys. Maybe even in future episodes when we get like good questions or questions in general, we'll maybe answer questions as well for you guys. Mm, And yeah, so definitely look forward to it. Like I said, hit the subscribe bell icon when more podcasts come out. This is just a little short first episode just to give you a hint of everything that we want to do, talk about, mm, and expectations of it, and maybe the reason why we decided to do it. So hopefully, yeah, you'll look forward to future episodes. The next episode hopefully be soon, and we'll probably dive into either personal stories about me and my life or about Sarah and her life, and we'll probably start rolling out things like that in the future for sure. Maybe
right.
even do like some different content in the future as well. Like I don't know, we can do like reactions to certain things or things like that in the future. But for now, podcast is definitely something that we want to continue doing. So yeah, that's a little bit of the end for me, at least for what I kind of want to say. Is Roni, do you have any last thoughts, anything that you kind of want to say?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's really it. And also, like, if anyone wants to like talk about anything or about topics about anything, relationship topics, because Brian is, I think, he's gonna he's our love 101 teacher.
You're sharing that on the first episode?
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah,
god.
yeah. So anything you just want to talk about, um, or anything you want to hear, or
Yeah,
maybe not earlier, but like, during, or just anything, or any comment,
mm,
like, feel free to like say whatever you want. But please be nice. But please feel free to say whatever you want, or whatever you're thinking, or if you're curious about me and Brian, or
mm,
how we met, or if you want us to go deep into the story, or you want us to,
mm,
if you have any questions of how we met, or yeah, we can try and explain that. I think that's how it is. So
yeah. Yeah, so definitely don't be afraid to ask questions about anything, comment. We'll definitely let you guys know about anything. Uh,
Haja, Haja.
and a little thought about like they call me the love teacher of our
He's
group
the
chat, which is
he's
lesson
love
101.
he's the we have it's called love lesson 101, and Brian is the professor.
Apparently,
He's
I'm
the
the
professor.
professor in that
He's
group
the
chat, and there's
professor.
only how many people are it? Five, six?
Yeah, that I'm saying, you got 5 students already, man.
They call me that,
You
but I'm
got
literally not that at all. Literally.
Yeah, he's better. Like, he's trying to be humble. He know what he's doing. Because for me, my love story is like -12. You know what I mean? People are like, oh, I only had one boyfriend, I only had two boyfriends. I have -12 and still counting negatively. That's how bad it is for me.
Oh my
So
gosh. This is how
just
we're ending the first episode, guys. But yeah, definitely look forward to it. And I definitely wouldn't call myself definitely a professor in that at all. But luckily, during my time in Korea, I did meet someone really interesting. But that's like continuously later on. They might even
that
appear on a future episode. Who knows? We'll see. But
coming soon.
oh, I don't know about coming soon. Maybe a little bit down later down the road. But my last thing that I did, kind of want to say is, sadly, I did have to come back, but for like pretty much like a small vacation and kind of finishing up my degree and such, since I'm about to graduate in March or finish graduating. So that's why I came back, and hopefully my plan is to go back in May to Korea. So that's why we're kind of remain really close because I'm looking forward to hopefully going back there and spending a lot more time with people. And yeah, yeah, so hopefully maybe in around May we can actually do like a podcast in person with friends or just us and things like that. That'd be really cool, really exciting. It'd be a little bit different too, but yeah. But I think that's definitely all for the first episode that we kind of wanted to share a little bit. So as Zerona's doing right now, we'll say goodbye for this first episode. Wanted to thank all of you for listening, showing support, share with your
I'm
friends, your family, everyone, people that you're either traveling with or people that you know are maybe struggling with like different stories. We're just here to
people you
just have a
like.
fun conversation and talk and really get to know each other and just share our experiences, have fun, tell funny stories, good stories, share about our lives and things like that. So yeah, so from one co-host, which is me, Brian, to
Zerona with an X.
this is this is the first episode of the All Encompassing podcast. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Yeah, we'll look forward to the next episode. So yeah, bye guys.
Bye.